Welcome back to another True Crime Wednesday, and tonight we are looking at a case we did a while ago on Twitch. I feel this case needs to have some kind of a revamping, if you will. Now, I'm not going to go and lead in and say what I think about this case. I'm not going to go and do all that. Tonight we're going to go and cover the facts. And the case that we're covering tonight is none other than the Phil Schneider case. Now, some people might call me crazy for looking at this case, then for sure he commits suicide. There's just a lot of facts here we're going to have to cover, and then we're going to kind of go down a little bit of a rabbit hole, my own deep dive of how I kind of dug into this case and what I found. So, we're going to get into that in just 1 second. Let me finish getting all these tabs up. Sorry, I was running a little bit late. I got a few different files to download real quick, and then we're going to go and hop right in. Now, I'm not going to go and show off the gruesome details, the images and all this kind of stuff, but I'm going to give you guys some kind of an idea about this case. So there is some things in this that you're going to find a little interesting. I had to do some pretty heavy digging in on this case, just because there's just so much to it. And there's a lot that was really interestingly enough buried. And I mean, there's some parts about this case that are also, it's the best way I can describe it. They made no sense as to why this was hidden and why some of this stuff looks to be, cleaned up, if you will. So, oops, wrong one, don't need that one. Just got two more tabs to bring up just so you guys have that. Which this would download. I'm having some issues. Well, no matter. And I know I'm already having some issues too when it comes down to the lag. I do apologize for that. This is all purely Comcast, just kind of taking a crap on me. There's some other things going into it, but really it's just Comcast being kind of Comcast, I swear they just want all streamers to go and get their business their business Wi-Fi, but that's not the case. I'm not going to go and do that. Because, pay more for a little bit? All right, we're going to go do that one first. And then we have a lot of data to cover, and that's the other part I want you guys to all understand with this. This case, there's a lot of data, and I'm serious when I say there's a lot of things that are covered up with this. There we go. That should be all the tabs. And no, I'm not going to show you guys the nitty-gritty kind of gruesome details about this. So for those that decide to try and ask, the answer is no. Alrighty, so let's just hop right in. So, I'm going to set the stage here for you guys so you guys understand what's going on. Phil Schneider was a guy who came out talking about the deep underground military bases. He talked about how he was missing, or basically he was damaged when he went down into this deep underground military base, and some alien life forms that were in this underground facility, more like a cave, the way it was described, had blasted him, and there was a bit of a conflict between the soldiers and these alien life forms. But Philip Schneider was injured, pretty gravely injured. He talks about a chest scar. He talks about missing a couple fingers, taking burns, all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of things that went on with this. And what ended up happening was, after he had done a few of these little conventions, these little speaking lectures, these little speaking events he had done at a few of these like UFO conventions and all that. He'd done a few speaking engagements, but he was speaking out about this, and then all of a sudden, about 7 months after his last one, he was found dead in his apartment in Oregon. Now, most of the details will lead and say, oh, okay, well, it was like Wilsonville where he was living. There's some that say Portland, and there was one, I believe, that said Corvallis, Oregon. But regardless, majority of them, I believe, said Wilsonville. But he died apparently in his apartment. Well, we're going to go over those details in just a moment. Let's go ahead and get right into the first part. So, what we have here, this is a timeline. I got all the details I possibly could, everything I could go and scavenge about Philip Schneider. And you will see also, you're going to see little time gaps, you're going to see some interesting information here. First and foremost, let's go over his birth. Well, Philip Schneider was born April 23rd, 1947. Okay. His father, just to show you this, was him, Captain Otto Oskar Schneider, allegedly. He was born in Germany and served as a U-boat captain. After his capture, Mr. Schneider was repatriated into the U.S. Naval Intelligence. He was instrumental in the design of nuclear submarines and worked with nuclear medicine. Captain Schneider also was involved with the Philadelphia experiment and Operation Crossroads. So this is like pre-Operation Paperclip. Okay. You got to look at a lot of different things when it comes to the story about this guy, but pay very close attention about this. Okay. Now, things to go and take in consideration. This right here. This inscription on his gravestone. Oskar Schneider, Captain, U.S. Navy. January 22nd, 1906 is when he was born, and he died May 13th, 1993. In memory of Sally W., which is his wife, who died in 1990. So, by finding this gravestone, you can go and see these things. And then you can go and start doing your own digging on this. But we're going to go and cut to the chase. And this right here, allegedly, was him at the end of his life. Now, this is the father. So, take note, Philadelphia experiment, Operation Crossroads. Okay? Now, take a look at the date here, 1947. Born in Germany, served as a U-boat captain. Well, U-boats. Just take a look. So you see, he had U-boats in 1850. So this could be either World War I or World War II. Now, this is where you also have to do some digging on the father, and it comes down to it. You look at the dress attire. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is World War II. All right? Now, World War II, you look at the details. Now, I remember looking into this, And I found out that this picture here, this guy here, was an actual U.S. naval officer, but he wasn't picked up from a German U-boat. Wasn't brought in from Germany. No, and he wasn't captured. He was a California native. Kind of interesting. But, like I said, I found pictures of that as well. But we're going to go and pay attention to this here. Cynthia Dreyer. Okay? Also pay attention to this. Leo Schneider. This is the uncle, allegedly. So, pay close attention to that. But let's get back into Philip Schneider's information here. July 30th, 1968. Philip Schneider entered Dimash, I don't know what this stands for, but State Hospital. Dimash State Hospital, which was a mental institution, if I'm not mistaken. Now, this is where he was characterized as schizophrenic with chronic and differentiated traits. Now, the chronic and differentiated traits, that's just a little added bonus into this, but he's schizophrenic. Interesting. Now, you were to go through the FBI docs, you could see that this is what comes up. Now, this is where you can't just do the internet sleuthing. You'd have to go and dig, and you'd have to go and talk to other people. You have to get to go and talk to people about this, that maybe have known about this. Maybe there was Dimash State Hospital. Let's take a look. Well, it was in Wilsonville, Oregon. Opened in 1961, closed in 1995. This is a newer facility at that time. Okay. Well, he leaves the following year. So, Schneider exited Dimash State Hospital. Under stress, self-mutilation for, quote, self-attention. He amputated 2 fingers and a thumb. Funny thing about that. He wasn't missing either thumb. He was only missing 2 fingers. So if he amputated his thumbs, I can't get into that, but because I can't even look him up because it'll potentially show, actually, hang on. No, I can't. Let me go and do this on a separate window and I'll bring it up for you guys. You'll see what this means here in a second. Here. Let's get a new window up. This is where things get kind of wonky. Now, this was also in the police or the FBI docs. This is a part that should really be striking people as odd. Why would that say that he amputated a thumb, but he clearly did not. It's a little interesting to say the very least. Perfect. Oh. Haha. So he didn't amputate a whole lot. A very clear image here. He amputated some. schizophrenia part of it? Okay, well, it's not bringing it up. All right, that's fine. Because my Wi-Fi is kicking my butt. But that's okay. So what else do we got here? All right, so he amputated 2 fingers and a thumb. Okay, okay. So I got to go and edit this here. It wasn't missing, but part of it was clearly cut off. So what is this self-attention? Well, it can mean a lot of things actually. Last time I looked it up, came down to it could be a number of things. It's just one of those things that they didn't have any good way to really detail it. But we'll move on. Once again, schizophrenia, so keep that in mind. And we're going to go over his medical information and all this here in a second. December 1st through the 31st, 1974. Now, we're not really sure, there's a whole lot that went on during this time. But George Myers received radioactive materials. Myers claimed to have suffered from nausea, hemorrhaging, and soreness in extremities. Now, this part is interesting. Nausea, hemorrhaging, and soreness from radioactive materials. Now, we know from the docs it was cobalt. Okay. Go over the details here. Let's see. If it'll load. There it goes. Cobalt. Well, it's beta and gamma radiation. So what do you get from it? Cancer, acute radiation sickness, which explains the nausea, skin burns, deposits in bones, livers and kidneys and death. Okay, well, what else did he go and deal with? We know the nausea was there. Hemorrhaging, okay, that causes some problems with the body. Soreness in extremities. And that showed all of it right there. But okay, we'll continue. Jackson Wood and Robert Rubio suspected Schneider of crime. Wood's 1974 Mercury Comet was reported stolen, but found the following day on fire. And I don't even remember what the whole the detail was, as to why that occurred, but it had something to do with like their living situation or something along those lines. But let's continue on. March 22nd, 1975, Wood reported Schneider. Schneider was allegedly creating a, quote, nuclear device. Keep in mind, this is a guy that mutilated himself, allegedly, and was characterized as schizophrenic. All right, let's continue. March 24th, 1975, Leo Schneider treated Philip Schneider. His anemia. Oh, so now he's got anemia too. He's got a variety of issues, so I'll just explain that. March 26, 1975, Schneider met Myers. Schneider received approximately 80 pounds to 300 pounds of radioactive material. It varies. So, 4 days prior, Schneider was allegedly creating a nuclear device, and then 4 days after that, he gets radioactive material. Interesting. Let's continue. March 27th, 1975. Myers corroborated Schneider's claim. FBI found approximately 60 pounds of low-level radioactive material in Myers' residence, attic, and basement. February 1st, 1976. Jackson Wood and Robert Rubio suspected Schneider of a crime. Again. Rubio's landlady's vehicle's windows were smashed after she became angry with him. See what I mean? Could you put it past him? February 15th, 1976. Robert Rubio and Schneider, physical confrontation. Schneider claimed that Rubio attacked him and had made the threatening statements concerning Special Agent Tomlinson. February 19th, 1976, Jackson Wood reported allegedly, Schneider intended to kill Rubio and Tomlinson. Special Agent James E. Tomlinson, Rubio and Schneider appear to have mental problems. So now you've got two people that are crazy. So now this would be an interesting note. How did he meet Rubio? And even then, after he met Rubio, where did he meet him? And does Rubio happen to have any mental conditions, any kind of ailments? That'd be another interesting one to see. 1979, Paul Benowitz claimed the existence of the Dulce bases. 1979, alleged underground extraterrestrial battle, Schneider's claim, also occurred that year. 1986, George Clinton Andrews discussed Dulce bases. May 1986, Philip Schneider met Cynthia Dreyer Simon. 1987, Philip Schneider and Cynthia Dreyer married. 1987, John Lear spoke about the Dulce bases. See, now you got three claims there. Paul Benowitz, George Andrews, and John Lear. 1987, Cynthia Dreyer gave birth to Maria Schneider. 1990, Cynthia Dreyer divorced Philip Schneider. 1993, the World Wide Web became publicly available. May 1995, Philip Schneider spoke about the Dulce bases. 7 months later, almost 8 months or so, Philip Schneider's body was found in his apartment in Wilsonville. Does this seem like somebody that's crazy? And this is why all these bad things keep happening? Or does this seem like somebody is telling the truth? Let's continue. Into his medical information. Well, he was on Delanton, but he had allergies to, quote, something in Delanton, end quote. His mental health, well, he's schizophrenic, he was a compulsive liar, and he was, quote, learning disabled, end quote. His medical conditions consisted of osteoporosis, multiple sclerosis, anemia, cancer in his arms, seizures, brain damage, chronic lower back pain. This guy was riddled with damage. Prior wounds, well, he had a metal plate in his head. He had some shrapnel, apparently. Scar from throat to below sternum, which we can see here. You can also see a scar from side to side below sternum. Missing 2 fingers on left hand and a thumb, partially. Prior lower back surgery. So you see it's like an L-shaped scar. You don't see it on the other side. So there's a lot of different reasons as to why you could have that scar. Now, the way he described how he was hit, that would have caused burns, all this. You don't see any burn tissue here. You don't see any skin grafts. He had a heart condition, is what I'm guessing. He had some kind of issue. They need to get in there. Okay. But who's this Cynthia Dreyer? Now, let's go over this a little bit. Obviously, there's a lot of things missing here, but let's go over what it is here. Despite the fact that Philip's claims seemed too wild or disturbing to be true, he obviously believed that in what he was saying. Ron Utella stating that he felt, that he needed protection and that there had been several attempts to have his car run off the road. After initial cause of Philip's death was listed as a stroke, Cynthia asked to see the body before it was prepared for cremation. She could not shake the feeling that something was wrong. The next day, Cynthia was contacted by Detective Randy Harris, who said that, I don't get the rest there. But Dr. Karen Gunson was the medical examiner from Multnomah County, Oregon, who did the examination apparently. Autopsy revealed that Philip had in fact died as a result of having a rubber hose wrapped 3 times tightly around his neck and tied off in a knot blocked the flow of blood to his head. He became unconscious and finally died. He was also cut as well, very clean cut. More surprising was Cynthia's discovery that Philip's lecture material, unknown medals, military photographs, and all notes of his unwritten book were also missing. When he was found in his apartment, Philip's body was in an unusual position. His feet were under the bed. His head was in a wheelchair seat, but no blood was found on the wheelchair. There were no apparent wounds on Philip's body to account for the blood. No sample of blood was ever taken, and a long time of Philip said, "I saw Philip the weekend of January 6th and 7th, 1996. We were going to buy land in Colorado. We were excited, blah, 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 some black budget. He did not commit suicide. He was murdered, and it was made to look like a suicide." We've seen this happen plenty of times. So the condition of his body and all this, that's a little weird. Could he have just mysteriously tied himself up that way and cut? I'm not going to show the body, but for those that do look into it, it's a little graphic, but I don't think it's 100% fair to really assume that's what occurred. Okay? When he was alive, Philip enjoyed eating out at the 76 truck stop in Aurora, Oregon. Well, 76 truck stop, you're going to eat truck stop food. Okay, that's gross. A waitress named Donna remembered his stops when Philip said, if they ever say that I have committed suicide, you will know that I have been murdered. She said that Philip believed he had, I don't know what the rest. But you can see this is a little interesting. But then this lady leaves. Cynthia Dreher leaves her email. simbid@aol.com. Well, you look into that. It takes you here to an Indonesian banking group. It's a little weird. Going to take a look into that. Malaysian Universal Bank, headquartered in Kuala Lumpur, operating in high-growth economies in ASEAN. SIM Group is an indigenous ASEAN investment bank. So what's her connection to this bank? But that's what we have for tonight. And there's a reason. I believe this is titled Part 1 as well. But we will be revisiting this case. So expect that coming here pretty soon. Most likely next Wednesday. But before I go, we're going to give up a few updates here. So next Wednesday will be the last single week. Where it comes to true crimes every Wednesday. We're going to start it'll be every Wednesday or every other Wednesday-ish, but we're also going to be airing some other content on Wednesdays as well, and just randomly throughout the week we're going to be talking about different product development that are coming from Crowworks Entertainment, including the Comic Wars trading card game that we're reviving that, and we're bringing out a magazine called Corvus Nocturnus, which will have a variety of different things for pretty much anybody of any genre almost. I don't want to say any. Nothing inappropriate, rather. You guys like Tales from the Crypt? There's stories like that in there. You guys like the superhero type comics? There's stories in there. You like things you like the kind of news, but kind of portrayed in kind of almost a fictional type way? There's stuff in there. Interested more in the Comic Wars trading card game? In the bi-monthly magazine, it comes with a free card for Comic Wars. That's the only way you'll be able to get it. These will not be coming out in any sets as of right now. And the card game will be officially being released re-released in January 2023. On top of that, there's going to be a deal. If you show up to the conventions, you happen to go and purchase any of the old Comic Wars trading card game products. You can bring it in, assuming you got a deck. If you bring enough for a deck, which is 40 cards, plus a character card, if you bring that in, I will exchange that for a free starter deck of your choice. So, on top of that, Real News Now is going to be on the Sunday as well. So be prepared. There's a lot of stuff to cover. This actually might be one of the longer podcasts as well. So be prepared. But more to come. And starting either next week or the week after, we're going to start doing some Comic Wars trading card game and product development type of streams. So you guys will actually get kind of up-to-date stuff. I'll be showing off some of the products, what they're going to be looking like, so on and so forth. So you guys